All right, so you're getting ready to sell your home and you want to know what the common closing costs are. This is a huge question and a big concern of many sellers, that after all their cost of selling, that they would have the proceeds that they need to get on with their life and get on with the next chapter. So I'm going to break that down in today's video. As a reminder, I'm Mike Thornton. I have a top real estate team here in the western suburbs of Chicago. If you'd like to know more about our market, connect with us. Information's in the description. So let's jump in. What are some of the closing costs associated with selling real estate? I think along the same lines, and the questions I'd ask even before going through the itemized expenses, are looking at two key decisions that would greatly impact your bottom line. The first is, are you going to prep your home for sale, and are you going to invest items into new flooring, new paint, new landscaping, things like that, things that could help you sell for top dollar? Are you going to make those investments? Now, you could do an easy search online for some of the positive return on investment items. I'll share a few with you here. Items that typically would pay back, because you're not looking to invest $1 to get 80 cents back. You want a positive return on investment. So the items that pay back typically the most: paint, flooring, landscaping, light fixtures, maybe a minor bathroom refresh. You're not looking to renovate the entire thing. It's hard to get your money back. The items you want to stay away from: roof, siding, windows, all those big ticket items. You're going to spend, $30,000 to get 10 back. So you definitely don't want to do that. The next big decision are you going to work with a realtor or not? As you'll look at the closing costs, that's typically one of the largest expenses. And what are you getting for your money? I've taped another video about what a listing agent actually does. You should reference that, because that will help you understand whether that investment is worthwhile or not for you. So let's just say you've decided that you're going to do some paint and some flooring. You've engaged a realtor, and now you want to understand exactly what your bottom line looks like when selling real estate. So one of the key expenses that would show up on your closing costs is a title insurance policy. At least here in Illinois, I'm not sure about other areas of the country, there are two title insurance policies issued. One is for a buyer for the lender, and one is seller to buyer. Don't ask me why. All I can say is that whatever policy that the seller is providing the buyer, the lender doesn't trust. So the lender also requires one from the buyer. That is to ensure there's clean title on the property. Nobody's going to come knocking on the door saying they actually own it. And so that policy is definitely an expense. I would say a rough estimate is about 3/4 of a point of your home value. So let's just say you're purchasing a home for $350,000. I would say, just above $2,000 would be the cost of that title insurance policy. Along the same lines, you'd have some title fees associated with closing with a title company. The title company is going to be critical in making sure all the money arrives, that everybody gets paid, that your mortgage gets paid off, and that all the key players leave with the proper disbursements. They're also doing some work behind the scenes, again, to ensure clear title, things like that. So let's just say those fees add up to about $500 more. The next fee that you'd be looking at, especially if you're in an attorney state, is an attorney to close with. Now that's typically a flat fee, and it's not terribly expensive. So you're looking at $500 to $600 for an attorney to help you through the attorney review process, help you through any sort of contract modifications, and then to have a pre-signing appointment so that you can basically sign all your documents and know exactly what you're signing. Next up, you might have some city and state transfer taxes. That is basically just a tax for selling property. Each area, at least here in Chicagoland, is different depending on what city you're in. Everybody pays the state transfer tax, but some cities around here, you either have a tax if you're the buyer or the seller, things like that. So you just definitely want to look at your local city that you're doing business in to see what kind of fees you'd have associated with that. The next fee is, you as a seller are probably required to obtain a new survey to provide the buyer at closing, and those can cost about $500 or $600 as well. And then we talked about it a bit, but you're going to have your realtor fees. So you're going to be contracted with your listing agent for a fee for the services that they provided. Now the big caveat here is whether you're going to be compensating the buyer's agent or not. There's some big changes in our industry where commissions are now decoupled. So a listing agent is not going in to talk to you as a seller and contracting basically on behalf of a buyer's agent that may come down the line and say, hey, we're going to offer them 2% or 3% or whatever the figure will be. But the buyer, when submitting their offer, there's a clear section, at least in the contracts here in Illinois that basically note whether that buyer is asking the seller to pay the buyer brokerage commission or not. They don't have to. That term is fully negotiated out. You're not required to do that as a seller. But if you do decide to do that as part of your offer negotiations, that would obviously show up as a closing cost as well. Those are the key ones really when looking to transact real estate. I think a pretty fair estimate is about 1.5% of your purchase price as a total cost of doing business on the sale side. Again, that can vary by state, but that's roughly what you're looking at. That's in addition to your broker fee, which again is variable. Not sure exactly what it is from state to state. Obviously, each realtor has a different fee and that can be fully negotiated. All in all, you're looking at your broker fee plus 1.5%, roughly, at least here in Illinois, as what to expect at closing. Now, the last thing I'll leave you with is, as a seller here in Illinois, we pay taxes in arrears. And so you will have to basically bring whatever taxes that are owed from your time living at your property of taxes yet paid. So let's just say it's June 1st and you haven't paid your bill for this year yet. You would be crediting the buyer a prorated amount equivalent to January 1st to June 1st of your tax bill so that they don't need to come track you down later when it's time to pay that bill, because that bill again is coming later as you pay taxes in arrears. So that portion of your property taxes would show up as a closing cost expense. Even though that money is earmarked somewhere already, you're probably already planning on paying that obviously. That might actually even be in an escrow account somewhere with your lender being ready to be paid. But when you look at your closing documents, you may see that as a closing cost and a sizable one. And just so you know, that's what that's for. Again, I'm Mike Thornton. I'm here to be a resource for you. If you found value in this video, please like and subscribe and catch us on the next one. Have a good day.